Alright guys, James and Justin back, and it is that time again where we are going to listen to another recitation, react to it, and we're bringing back to the fold probably the most popular of all the videos we've ever done. We're bringing back Abdulbasit. That's our most popular video, I think, on YouTube. It's the first one that we reacted to. So it has been about a year, so Has it really?
It's been a year since we've done that. Oh my goodness. YouTube turns life into a time machine.
About that. I think. I don't like to be like so sure about stuff. I could be wrong, but around a year.
It's been a while.
But anyway, guys, we're going to be reacting to Surah 93 and 94. I've got my Quran with me with some highlighted verses here. We'll probably stop it halfway through and then once at the end, and I guess let's get into it.
अब तशरीफ रखिए और कारी साहब से कुरान मजीद सुनिए और अपने दिलों के ईमान के जज्बात को ताज़ा कीजिए। तबीयत पे बोझ ना हो इनकी। भाई खामोश हो, उनकी तबीयत पे असर हो जाते, खामोश है। कुछ लोग सिर्फ शरारत के लिए आए, वो अपना कर रहे हैं। पीछे भी कह दीजिए, पीछे लोग खड़े हो रहे हैं, पीछे कह दीजिए। आप बैठ जाओ।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الله يفتح عليك. بارك الله في بيتك الجمال.
والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى.
يا عيني يا قلبي، الله أكبر. أيوة يا عيني كده والله. بركة النهاردة بركة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى.
لا مثيل لا مثيل في الدنيا، لا مثيل.
جزاكم الله وبركة الله تبارك وتعالى.
ربنا اداك نعمة خالصة. الله يخليك.
ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى. فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك.
Is this guy the GOAT? Is this guy the greatest of all time? Like, I love everything that, like, this video is kind of like doing. You kind of like see like the prep. Everyone's excited. Everyone's kind of getting ready to get into it. And then when he does start going, I love how he's a little eccentric in the way that he delivers the recitation. The way that he puts his hands up. Like, if we've watched other people do recitations, and from what I've seen, he's kind of like the only guy that does it the way that he does it. And I love how after he like delivers a line, everyone's like, yeah, they're all like excited. Oh! I know, yeah, it's kind of like, it is kind of like that. They're all jazzed and excited about it, and I appreciate cool stuff. I'm not exactly sure where we are in here. If you catch me, I was kind of like looking down because I was just looking at my Quran. So I did a little bit of prep, highlighted a couple of verses on here that kind of like stuck out. But one of the things that kind of stuck out right off the bat is that as you go farther through the Quran, the surahs start getting shorter, like really short. And I wonder if that might have had something to do with like Muhammad near the end of his life being like less to say. You know, which tends to kind of happen to people. Like, the longer they're like, I've already said everything I need to say. Yeah, and like, and sometimes people are like, tell us one more thing, give us one more thing, and
you're
then,
addicted to the things I say.
Oh yeah, you throw out a couple of things, you could throw out a couple of things, and everyone's like, oh, you know, like, and then write it down. But part of that that there, I think, is kind of seen in some of the last surahs. They seem more reflective. I was looking at one here, and it was like, by night as it covers. He does like a lot of reflective things by places, like by the water or under a tree. Like in this one, it says in the morning light. And then the other one, there's another one in 95. It says he sits by the fig and the olive tree or whatever. Like, I wonder if he's just, he was chilling out kind of near the end. And maybe a lot of it was more for his people than it was even for himself near the end. Just like throwing some verses out there, so people had something.
Maybe the longer somebody acts as Messiah or prophet or whatever, or teacher or philosopher, maybe the longer they go, there's longer pauses between the time they actually do speak. They start off really trying to capture everyone's attention, and then they just learn that, wait a sec, this stuff is so hard to do properly. So there's longer times of contemplation between the time they actually speak. And
and then when they start speaking, it's slow.
Well, when they speak, they've learned how to succinct everything up in the most direct message they can give, so there's not blathering in between. One thing that stands out is like you said there, what you pointed out, that it mentions for some reason where he was doing the things, like by the morning light, or something. And as you were talking, I was thinking, why is a sunset have the impact it does? Like, what is it about waking up early and watching the sun rise and staying up late and watching it set and the effect that has, or being in nature versus being in an office. Like, because I honestly feel like some part of spirituality is when you, dare I say, start realizing something about equanimity, whatever the hell that means. I don't even know what it means. I'm just going to use that word. You might find that you can look at you can be in all kinds of scenarios and sort of see the beauty in it. You might be looking at a big gray parking lot with sparse plants and sort of see the beauty in it. You might be looking at some carpeting in an office building and be like, there's something oddly comforting about this. Or there's, when you're not given way to some kind of like egoic label, crazy rationalizing system like possessing you.
Yeah.
If you can shush that down a little bit, all of a sudden, not just the early morning light, but all kinds of situations can become.
And constantly always having to feel like you need to get somewhere too.
Yeah.
There's something about, watching nature that, I don't know, for me, it kind of speaks towards kind of like the impermanence of things, because when you see a sunset, you almost kind of see a clock too at the same time. You're like, how many more of these do I have left? Right?
It just leads you into a contemplative state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? If you, as you were talking, I realized something. If you got time to be looking at a sunrise or a sunset, you're not in get your butt in gear mode. I suppose unless you're like up for work and you just pause a minute to sort of like Clark Griswold at the Grand Canyon, you know what I mean? Like look at it for a couple of, all right, let's go. But if you actually have a time to be contemplative, maybe you naturally sort of get into a more relaxed state anyway, and that puts you in a good state for receiving some of Allah's messages or something.
Yeah. Well, we're a little past the halfway marker here, so we'll let this play and close it out, and we'll see you guys at the end half.
سبحان الله والله كنا عاوزين كده والله العظيم
فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك
يا سبحان الله في 51 النهار إن شاء الله
ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب صدق الله العظيم.
Well, there you have it. Good stuff. So basically, I got another verse here, kind of continuing off of the last things that we were kind of talking about there, sticking with kind of that reflective mentality. Looking at Surah 94, it says, "Did we not soothe your heart, we being Allah, the royal we, and lift you your burden, which weighed down your back, and raised you from your reputation? With hardship comes ease, with hardship comes ease, when your work is done, turn to devotion, and to your Lord turn for everything." I was just kind of, for some reason, it was making me think about some of the older people I've kind of met near the end of their life. And despite all the hardships, all the hard things, all the pain and suffering that they went through, usually when you say go to like a 75th, birthday ceremony, people tend to usually almost have tears in their eyes that they're just so grateful that, they made it. They got a giant family. They're usually full of thankfulness. There's something about just making it through all that crap and then finally getting to the end, and then being like, I made it. Like, I've even heard people usually in like their 70s, they'd be like, we did it. We made it. We actually made it through this thing. And only being 44, going through my own personal stuff that I go through, I sometimes think about stuff like that. It's hard now, but it'll pass. Hard things come, they pass, they get good. You're thankful, you're happy for a bit, and then the next wave of things typically comes. Seems to work like that. Life, this up and down, constant up and down. And so for all the people that are out there that might be going through suffering times, that this too shall pass, more than likely.
Yeah, I'm pro something different than that.
Yeah.
I'm pro. I hear what you're saying, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. You know what I mean? Like it's good for getting your head back down and getting back to it. But at the same time, I personally am interested in sustainable peace. I'm actually interested in imperturbability. That's what interests me. Whether I don't know. I come from a place of big I don't know. I can't prescribe anything to get that. I'm not going to sit here and tell people how to do it, but that's what I'm after. I'm after the peace that passes all understanding.
Yeah.
I believe that it is. Look at me. I'm still believing in stuff. Shows you where I'm at. So anyway, sorry.
That it might be achievable. I hear you, man. I'm never going to throw utopia out the window. I love the idea of some like united utopia where we kind of like all work this thing out together despite our different beliefs and stuff like that.
Well, the up and downness that you mentioned, I remember one time, I won't use that as a anecdotal thing because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but it feels like by and large the world has this sort of like, either you have the answer and spit it out or shut up and put your head down and keep working. And to me, the idea of an up and down, a slingshot thing, is a little bit juvenile in nature. It's like the person that oscillates from hedonism to, it's like a shame cycle or something like, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna get abs, and then they do that for a little while, and then they return to hedonism, and then they overdo it, and then they get their life back together. And it's like this cycle of torment and pain and reformation. I'm gonna reform and I'm gonna get my life back together. And to me, I'm after something like, no, this is it. That's it. And that is something that I do find is maybe a little more apparent in older people who have been through everything. They've I've lifted every stone. And so now I'm a little chill, and everything in its due time. I don't think it's something that you can just like force. I think there are some practices that you can do that make your mind fertile ground for the truth to spring forth. I do get the sense of that. I feel like I've experienced that. But that is what I'm after. I'm not after some consolation, like, don't worry about it. Just keep going and don't think about it. I'm like, that's not sustainable for me. Like, there's got to be something that makes things better. And with everything we've researched and everything we've done and all the practices we looked into and meditation and hypnosis and spirituality and all these things, I feel like I've had enough of a taste of these things to keep going.
Yeah.
Enough of a taste of seeing the ego, seeing like your false self and what that really is, and what it's up to and the torment that it causes you, the torment that beliefs can cause you,
Yeah.
to be like, there's something higher than beliefs even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or not higher, that's a direction. Something,
Yeah.
I don't know, just that saves you from beliefs,
Yeah.
really.
Well, all stuff worth thinking about. There's some deep stuff. I enjoyed this Abdulbasit one. I'm starting to like his stuff. And I love the time period. I think that was 1987 Pakistan. I just like everyone kind of like all excited watching something. To me, it reminded me of like a Christmas concert or something.
Yes, yeah,
It's like-
but just different, right? Like
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
got our own VHS footage of, you know, Christian church event things like that, you know?
Yeah. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone, until next time, stay spiritual.